Could you tell us your name?
Yeah, my name's Daniel Campbell. I was born in Modesto, California, and raised in Ceres.
You know, Daniel, you and I met before, and I told you we're making a program on homelessness in the Modesto area. So you agreed to do this interview, and I really want to thank you for that. I do want to thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Can you tell us about how you became homeless and why you're still homeless today?
That's a long story. I'll try to make it short, but basically it started out, I had a lot of issues with my family, mainly my stepdad when I was a teenager. We would get in arguments, fights. So when I was about 18, my mom wanted me out to get a room for rent, so I started having rooms for rent. I worked at fast food restaurants, hotels. She would always help me pay my rent because I'd get fired for numerous reasons. I never really addressed my mental illness, so it always became something that got in the way of my jobs, you know. Never took medication. Later on, I ended up moving in with my brother. I stayed with my dad for a while in Nevada, helped him out at his auto shop. And then about 2003, 2004, I got into some graffiti, you know, and later on, I ended up getting arrested for a different type of crime, but 2007, that's when I first became a felon. And after I became a felon, everything changed with my family, like the outlook or view they had on me. Just like, they didn't want me around unless I'm doing what they want or living how they want me to live, you know? And I've tried, but I can't seem to please anybody, so it always comes down to whether sometimes I got a place for a couple weeks, but then I gotta go. Sometimes I got a place for a month or two, I gotta go. It's always off and on, and now it's like my family completely cut me off. My mom barely will answer text messages, and I'm coming to the point where it's like, if I don't go right, I'm gonna get left behind, man. And that's something I don't want to happen.
You said you had mental health issues and you didn't address them. Did you go to any people to see if to get any help, any services? What kind of services have you been provided, and what kind of agencies are you working with now?
Well, I have county assistance for insurance, health insurance,
Yeah.
medical insurance. I've had the same physician for 8 years. Her name is Dr. Amanda Cruz at McHenry Medical Office. First, she used to be at Turlock Medical Office, but she moved over here. And I've had diagnosis basically with bipolar depression, ADHD, schizophrenia, which later they re-diagnosed as multiple personalities, severe anxiety, PTSD with paranoia. What else? I think there was like one or two more, but I don't remember exactly what they were. And I never really took medication because when I would take medication, it would either be to where I'm just like a zombie, zonked out, feeling like I can't do nothing, zoned out, don't hear anybody, or it was like I'm stomach sick, feeling all jittery, so I never took them. Well, later on, I ended up getting this prescription called Ativan because I think all the problems are due to the high level of stress or anxiety I've had, you know, which can lead to other emotions.
Yes.
And once I had that, I felt better, but when I didn't have that, things were just like more intense because I guess you become adept to it, you know?
Yes. And living on the streets, I would imagine creates a higher level of anxiety. Is that true, or am I wrong about that? Living on the streets.
Well, you feel always at risk of like danger because no matter where you're at, like if people are smart, even if you dress good, they can see that you're homeless because you like what you're carrying around, or how you like go about your business, and then it becomes to the point where like if they don't realize you're homeless, then oh, there's just people don't want you in your neighborhood. You try to move different places, and you get police harassing you, get tickets. It just goes on. gang members don't like white people, so damn near everywhere I go, like they try to jump me and stuff. So it's really hard to sleep without medication because I can't fall asleep like until I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a medication now called Remeron.
Mm-hmm.
It's for bipolar depression and sleep.
Yeah.
And I want to take it. I was taking 15 milligrams and it really knocked me out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I had my doctor reduce it to 7.5 because I don't want to be like super passed out and someone can walk up to me and I won't hear him or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it actually
So
affects.
that's a fear because you're living outside, and that somebody could take advantage of you. Could do something that you're not.
Attack me, steal my only belongings,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Speaking of which, you were attacked recently. I don't know if you want to discuss that, but I know when I met you, when we met last week, your jaw was you couldn't. We just could have something light to eat. We could just have
Liquid.
liquid to eat. Is that you have your jaws wired right now still?
No,
No, they took them off.
I did it myself with medical scissors
You did.
because after 13 days of drinking Boost energy drinks, vitamin waters, water, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that, trying to tough down broth,
Yeah, it's got tired of it.
I couldn't handle it. My stomach
You
got
got tired, right? Do you
hungry.
now? What was this? How did that? Why were you attacked? And if you want to tell us, and was the attack? Was your homelessness a contribution to the reason why you were attacked, or not?
Well, there were 2 separate attacks recently that happened within a 2-week span.
Okay.
And one was over here. I usually come here before the sun comes down, like evening, you know? And I came back through over there like at 10:45 by the golf course where the bike path comes down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm right at the top of it, about to enter and go downhill. And this guy approaches me and he's like, hey, he goes, aren't you Swerve? And I was like, what? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean Swerve? He's like, yeah, you're Swerve. And I was like, no, man, I've never heard of that, dude. I think you got me mistaken for someone else.
What time was this, Dan? Could I just get a time? What time did this happen? Around?
Between 10:45 and 11.
It was dark. It was
Yeah.
nighttime, and it was in a park here at. We're in Thousand Oak Park in Modesto, and
It was actually that roundabout right here where the golf course where you hang the corner and head toward right here, El Vista.
yeah. So right down here, this path, not too far from here.
Yeah, right where it starts.
Right.
And he kept telling me that, and I was like, man, no, I'm not Swerve. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, yeah, remember, I'm Desiree's friend Christy's baby's dad. And I was like, oh, okay, I went to your house like a month or 2 ago, you know?
Right.
And, oh, what's up, man? Shake my hand. Here, you want a beer? Yeah, sure. Where you headed? Where I sleep? I sleep right here by the creek. Oh, that's cool. Hey, check this out. Whoo! Throws a fucking beer bottle at full speed right at my face, like 3 feet ahead of me.
Yes.
I dodged it, thank God, and then I had my pit bull at the time. She's a female long sleeves, and the other guy came out of the bush on the side, like 10 feet away, and flips the switchblade, and they're surrounding me like this, right? So I start backing down the bike path, and they're like, "This is what you for messing with little homie." And I was like, "What do you mean, little homie? I don't know what you're talking about, you know? You fuck little homie up. You know what you did? You beat his ass, fucking." I was like, "Dude, you don't even know who you're talking about. You got me mistaken, man. Get the fuck away from me." So I kept backing down the hill, and the guy started running at me with the blade, you know? I told my dog, skip, and she fucking lunged toward his throat. I apologize for cussing. I just get vivid.
It's all right. That's
And right when she lunged, she got like that close, and he stopped and got scared, and his friend was like, "Go get the gun." And I was like, "Man, you guys need to leave me alone. I'm trying to go to sleep, and you don't even know who I am, man, you know?" So I kept going, and they never came back, but that was the first incident.
now that was that was a contributing factor. The fact you're out in a park late at night, which you probably. I live by this park. I would not be riding down here at 10:45. I do ride down here, but this is where you live, so this is a different thing. That's where I wanted to. Then you made your point, but the other attack you did get attacked, and you actually got your jaw broke, right?
Yeah, and that was 3 days later after this.
Okay.
my friends that were staying here with me, one day I went to meet up.
Was that contributed to your homeless? Was it because you were homeless that you got attacked, or did it have anything to do with it? I didn't really say.
On the first one?
No, second one.
Oh, I have no clue, because once in a full moon, man, I'm stupid, I make dumb decisions, I do stimulants. Because when my ADHD, like right now, my mind's just running off the hinge.
Yeah,
It takes my mind and goes, shoo,
Quiet.
stops my thoughts.
Quiet.
It's stupid and lethal, but like, yeah, whatever. I had some on me when I went to my friend's hotel, and they didn't know it. My friend, while I'm asleep, he went in my bag to get some food, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he pulls the bag out, I guess, and I wake up and I notice my bag's in a different location and my stuff's out, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? Eating my chips. I was like, oh, could I see my bag, please? I look, I didn't have it, and I was like, why are you taking my shit out of my bag? He's like, oh, I don't care what you think, we're not having it here, I gave it to Ari. We don't want you to have it, you have mental problems, it affects you different, blah, blah. And I was like, man, at least give me my money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, get the fuck out of here, we don't want you here, whatever. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I was like, all right, you know what? That's cool. I'll see you later, you know? So I grabbed my clothes, I grabbed my backpack, I grabbed my dog, I open the door, I walk out. Next thing I know, I'm waking up laying on the curb on McHenry Avenue, spitting up blood on my shirt and shorts. And I stand
You
up.
don't know. The guy, somebody attacked, one of that group attacked you. Somebody attacked you.
Not my friends, I
Not your
don't think,
friend,
because
no.
they were behind me when I shut
okay.
the door.
Oh.
But where the room was I was on corner, and the hallway cut back. So I think somebody was waiting right there, came out, when I came out and just went wham, and like got me so good where it broke
This
it.
hotel. This is a hotel. I guess.
The Tiki Hotel.
Tiki Hotel, yes. Yeah, that's a lot. There are homeless people who stay there for a night. I know there's family. I think they actually do families there. Sometimes I know it's some homeless people stay at the Tiki. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. There's some program there.
A whole lot of freaking drug dealers too, heroin and all that, you know,
Okay.
gang members and
Okay. So you just don't know. Somebody just sly rapped you. Really, what really
they
happened?
sucker punched me.
Sucker punched you, yeah, yes.
I have a feeling it was a northerner because they were northerners over here, and I have no problem with gang members because that's their business. But they don't like white people. So I woke up, started walking down McHenry, and I called my friend. I was like, hey, man, just curious, did you just beat my ass or what? And he was like, no, why? I said, because I'm spitting blood everywhere and I can barely move my mouth. I have no idea what the hell just happened or how I got to be on the curb. And he didn't tell me.
It really covered, yeah. What happened? And I really wanted to know how that all took place because I didn't know how that attack really took place. Okay, I wanted to. What are you doing? I mean, you have services. Now you said you had services, but are you seeing any counselors today? What kind of services do you have really? I mean, you have your food stamps, right? Is that what you meant? You have food stamps?
Is today the 6th?
Yes, today is the 7th.
Oh, cool. See, today I got 189 bucks. I thought it was the 6th.
That was for the right from that's your food stamps, right?
Yeah.
And then you have do you get public assistance like the 200? There's a public assistance program. You can get $200. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure, but do you get any money?
It's through the same building on Community Service Agency on Hackett. It's called General Assistance. And since I'm diagnosed disabled to work due to mental illness, PTSD, my doctor notes allow me to get that check without having to do the work. If I didn't have the note showing I'm disabled, I would have to do what like AWP workers do, alternative work program.
What do they do? Pick up stuff or go around cleaning what do they do?
They clean the parks.
Yeah,
They work at the jails.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff.
Yeah, I've seen people do. I didn't know how they were doing it, but I wanted to get back to you have diagnoses, so you've applied for SSI, right? You have applied for SSI.
Yeah, right now I'm basically appealing it, and I'm waiting for my hearing level. And
because they turned it down the first time, right?
the first time I went for my wrist injury, I had a break on my right distal radius, and I had to have 2 surgeries. It didn't get approved, so I went later with a mental health diagnosis, The first one got disapproved. Now this is a new diagnosis, and my doctor's like, I don't care what they say, they're not going to deny it. We're going to make sure they give it to you because you've had these problems since you were young, and people didn't even address them until you were like after 21 years old, and you've been living with all these problems for the last 10 years, dealing with it without help or any medication.
Okay, you say you may have access to services, you have some services, but what are you doing yourself? What do you feel like you're doing yourself to get off of homelessness? Or is this something you want? Do you want to stay homeless?
I mean, is this video gonna be shown to like law enforcement or anything?
Well, I don't know who's going to see it. It's not going to be purposely shown to law enforcement, but they could be there. I would not say anything that the statute of limitations has not run out on. Okay? Anything on video.
Basically, I get a check for $315 from the community service agency that comes with my food stamps. That comes on the 1st, and then $189 on food stamps is on the 7th. Throughout the month, I find different ways or means to acquire money, recycle, etc., you know. And that's what I'm looking forward to use to get a room for rent, because this shit, I've did this for a long time, a while already, in different little spans, you know. But I'm fed up, man. I'm coming to the point to where it's getting to me, and one of these days I'm just gonna be like, nope, I can't do this.
But recycling, as you know, and I know, is not going to get you off the street. And hustle. Well, I don't know what you do, but you know what? If it's something illegal, is it? I don't know if it's illegal. Maybe you just go around and pick up jobs. You could do that. People hold up signs. I see them. You know, you can if you can handle doing. I've seen people doing that. But what else do you? What's your plan? What do you want to? Sounds like you want to not be homeless anymore. Yeah.
I want to progress, move forward, fulfill my dreams, and like live my purpose of life. I know my purpose, man. To this world, I'm an asset. Like, I'm a homeless person, so it might sound like stupid for me to say this, but in my eyes, I'm so important that it's not even describable. Like, I feel in me this energy, this feeling that I'm here to change the world by myself. Like, I have what it takes to deliver a message or to open people's eyes to see what either they need to help their family and friends or themselves, or to help society grow and for our world to have a better future. And I'm just really wanting to find that first step, because once I find that first step towards this goal of mine, which, like, I don't care about working.
What is the goal?
I want to change the world.
Okay, I got you.
And that might sound
how about
stupid.
your own personal? I mean, and that's a wonderful goal. I mean, I'm not saying that's but how is that helping you? First, you have to make, before you can run. The old expression is you have to walk. And so I do. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't have that goal. But I am saying that you have to have intermediate goals in between. So what's the goal you think you need, or just tell me what you think. What's your plan to help yourself?
Well, as soon as I get the money, it's $45. If I wouldn't have lost that $100 bill, I could have got it today. That's what I was planning to do. I had to renew my P.O. box. It'll go from August till February. So because my mom, she said she don't want me to get my mail at her house no more.
Okay.
I want to get a safety deposit box, which is $45 a year, because I owe for traffic tickets and medical bills.
Yeah, I got you.
Any money I put in my checking account, the government puts a lien on it and levies it. So I want to get those two so I can stash my money and save it and get my mail without having to argue or bother my mom. I want to get a room for rent, and I want to get my SSI finally because I need the stability, and that's what I don't have right now. I don't have stability. Throughout the day, I could survive and do what I have to live,
Mhm.
but I'm not getting to where I want or need to be as soon as I want to be.
Okay, so what do you think would help you? Okay, if you had your choice, what you had could make up, what would help you stop getting from being homeless? If you had a plan, if you could lay something out there, what would help you? What do you think?
It may sound cold-hearted, man, but this is one of my offsets. I care about people more than I care about myself, man. Even in a bad predicament,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give somebody my last food and then not have any for the night. I care about people more than myself because I have low self-esteem. But what I need to focus on is getting money by any means necessary. I don't care if it's against the law. I don't care what it takes, because when you're at this point, what are you gonna do if you can get money in a certain manner that's not legal, but it will give you comfort and stability and get you off the street? Would you do it?
I can't. Well, I would know the consequence of the consequences of doing something illegal. There are consequences, and the consequences you already know. I mean, you told me you had been in prison,
Yeah.
so you know you told me personally. If I don't want to bring up your family, but you know what the problem is. You go, if you do that, you face the consequences of going to jail and going to prison. Especially, I don't know what your record is now, but you know there's a three-time loser.
Three-strike offense.
Three-strike offense, yeah. And
Then
they've
you're
they
gone.
altered a bit, but you can go and do some heavy-duty time in prison. And you know that. So we're not, so I'm talking to something, I would hate to see you do that. I would hate to see you resort to that personally, just because I'd hate to see you go to jail. Because you might get away with it, but then if you don't, you don't. And
See, I used to grow medicinal marijuana. Sorry to interrupt.
okay, no, it's fine.
I had a cannabis card. I still do right now.
Mm.
A medical recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
And for about 2-3 years between 2009 to 2011, I grew marijuana indoors.
Mm-hmm.
I had my own 3-bedroom house in Turlock,
Mm-hmm.
and I would sell it to the dispensaries in the Bay Area. That's how I was paying rent and surviving, getting what I needed. Well, some guy called and told the cops that I had a firearm. He was a person who I would allow to help to get money on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a firearm, but I was going to leave my house and I had my medicine on me. Well, they said that me having my medicine in my backpack, even though I hadn't left my property, I was standing in my driveway, that I was trafficking marijuana, and I never even left my property. So they took my medicine,
Yes.
took my way to pay rent, and after that, that's when I started becoming more homeless, moving here to there, and then just straight hit the street,
So outside of doing that, whatever, if you could grow medical marijuana, I don't know. Maybe that's something. Right? Maybe you can do that someday. I don't know. The
I'm
laws
really
are
good
changing.
at it.
The laws are changing, but outside of breaking the law,
I was
you
doing
don't
it
think about
legally.
breaking the law. What do you have any alternative plan uh, besides, not breaking the law, but doing something that you could do to help yourself get off homelessness and without necessarily, without breaking the law?
If I don't get SSI, man, I'm gonna go to school, and that's it. I'm gonna fully dedicate to college for at least 3 to 5 years, because if I can't get SSI for my illnesses, which are clearly apparent, like if people cannot tell, then I don't care what they think, because I know how I feel, what I go through. I go through severe ups and downs
Mm-hmm.
daily.
Mm-hmm.
if I can't get SSI, the only thing that's going to bring me forward to get money or have a career that's a legal or proper route, it's going to be through education.
Okay, say you get SSI. Let's
Yeah.
say you get it. Now you have SSI. You still, it's not a lot of money, SSI. I mean, it's relatively, it's better than what you have now. Do you think you can afford an apartment on SSI? There probably are. I mean, I know of programs where you could pay 30% of your low income, but there's waiting lists for those. I have, to be perfectly honest, there are, from what I've gathered. But let's say you get it. So now you have SSI, you have an apartment. Okay, you're off the street, which would be a wonderful thing, and I hope you get it.
Yeah.
I really hope you get it.
I pray to God.
But
man.
on the other hand, I know they fight it because other people have known. So you get it. But let's say you get it. So you get SSI. So now, what's your plan? You just gave me a plan that's really interesting. You just laid out a plan about going to school. You just laid it out. But then somehow that plan was only if you got SSI. I mean, if you get SSI, that plan's gone? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't want it to be, but I'm not totally sure if you're getting benefits through Social Security for mental illness.
Yes.
If you go to school, then they'll be like, well, you're able to comprehend and understand the agenda or the curriculum of your courses. So I don't know if they would be like, the fact that you're going to school and passing your courses and being able to move toward a degree, we're no longer going to assist you.
We can talk about that. You definitely, that has no effect. One has no effect on the other. None.
For sure.
For sure, because you fall under Americans with Disability. You fall under an act of federal law. If you go to school and you pass your classes and you can get into school and you can go to JC, you got a high school diploma. There's no effect. You mean you're applying for financial aid? They do a budget for you. Yes, the money that you get from SSI will be considered in that budget.
It will deduct, huh?
Yeah, of course. They always deduct.
Until you're done with it.
But you'll get something if you qualify for one. But you may be able to live on SSI and go to school with just getting a little bit of money. A lot of people don't have SSI to go to school. But I don't want to get into a discussion on that. We can talk about that. I wanted to ask you, because I think if you have anything else to say before we wrap this interview up, I want you to have what you want to say. And you can think about it for a moment.
Yeah, man. I got a message for everybody, actually. Not just homeless people. Society in general. When you drive by somebody who's in some raggedy clothes, when you see them pushing a shopping cart full of stuff, and they're dirty, they haven't showered, you see people laying in the alleyway next to a smell that smells like piss. Why do you walk by and look at them like, scum, piece of trash? That's the whole problem with this shit. Nobody wants to lend a helping hand. And I'm not saying go out and give people money. I'm saying look at that person and think, is that person hungry? How long will that person survive if he was starving to death? Does this person have a disease or a condition because of his hygiene that's going to affect him to where he could die? How long is this person going to last if we leave these people out here to live off of the land? It's the levels of society that are ruining the world. We're equal as people, but in this, like wherever we live, there's lower class, there's the ghettos and the slums, homeless people. Then there's the middle class, where they're maintaining their 9 to 5, doing what's right. And then there's the upper class, where there is no contact with them, with the other classes at all. They're like their own little segregated society themselves.
Okay.
And I feel like this is a problem because take a look at yourself and then look around and see where you can give a lending hand, like a helping hand, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's the problem, and someday this shit's gonna change, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna be one that's gonna open a whole lot of people's eyes, whether it's from here or through my music, because I make my own music, and I know eventually I'm gonna be heard one way or the other. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you for the interview. I do appreciate this thing.
Yeah, me